particle obtained cannot be divided further. Democritus called this indivisible particle atom, meaning undivisible, indivisible. A thing which cannot divide further is called indivisible or atom. All this was based on philosophical considerations and not much experimental work to validate these ideas could be done till 18th century. Till the time of 18th century, we were not able to see like observed experimentally that 3 grams of carbon combines with 4 grams of oxygen to form carbon monoxide. In other words, carbon combines 4/3 part of mass of oxygen. Suppose we divide the atomic mass until mass unit. Abbreviation is used as AMU, which is atomic mass unit, is now written as only U, which is called unified mass, which is equal to mass of a carbon atom. We would as whole number as near to a whole number as possible. While searching for various atomic units, scientists initially took 1 divided by 16 of mass of atom of naturally occurring oxygen as a unit. This was considered irrelevant due to 2 reasons. First, oxygen reacts with large number of elements and formed compounds. And second, the atomic mass unit gave masses of about most of the element as a whole number. So our requirement, we need to have atomic mass in the form of whole number, and next requirement was that it should react with many more other compounds so we can find its relative mass. So 2 were satisfied. However, in 1961, universally accepted unit mass was carbon-12. Isotope was chosen as the standard reference for measuring atomic masses. One atomic unit is mass equal to exactly 1/12 of the mass of atom of carbon-12. The relative atomic mass of all elements have been found with respect to atom carbon-12. Imagine a fruit seller, fruits without any standard weight with it. He is selling fruits and we do not have any weighing scale. He takes a watermelon and says, this has mass equal to 12 units, 12 watermelon units or 12 fruit masses. He makes 12 equal pieces of watermelon and finds the mass of each fruit he is selling relative to the mass of 1 piece of watermelon. Now he sells his fruits by relative fruit mass unit as shown in the figure. Similarly, relative atomic mass of an element is defined as average mass of atom as compared to 1/12 of the mass of carbon. Hydrogen has atomic mass 1, carbon has atomic mass 12, nitrogen has atomic mass 18 units, while oxygen has it 16 units. How do atoms exist? Atoms of the most element are not able to exist independently. Atoms form molecules and ions. These molecules and ions aggregate in large number to form matter that we can see, touch or feel. These atoms are very tiny that we cannot see an individual atom, neither